Hello everyone, Christina Werner here. Welcome to day 14 of the holiday card series for 2024. I'm going to be using this adorable stamp set with llamas for Mama Elephant today. But before we get into the coloring, I wanted to remind you all about the Olo Marker Tower giveaway that I have going right now. So, in last Monday's video, I showed you the tower and I was going to, once it arrived, I was actually going to show it in video, but I just looked at it now. It's beautiful and it's packaged so well in the box. I didn't want to break it out. So unfortunately, I'm not going to show it to you in video because I want to keep it nice for whoever wins it. But I thought I would just show you the, on their website, what it looks like. So this is what it is on their website. You can see all the different kind of, there's a black and white version. The one they sent to me is white, so that's what the winner will receive. But you can just flip through and it's so great. You can pre-order for a December delivery. But like I said, I'm going to be giving this away. I store my Olo markers with the same color on each end. So this particular storage solution doesn't work for me, but it might for any of you out there who have different colors on each end of your marker. The tower rotates so you can see both ends of the marker. So if you have Olo markers or if you're interested in possibly starting to get some in the future, the storage tower might be a good solution for you. There's a form down in the video description just to fill out. This giveaway is open to US residents, or if you are somewhere else in the world, but you have someone in the US where you could have it sent there, then you could enter the giveaway as well. I'm just only going to be shipping it to US addresses. So anyway, that's the Olo Tower. I also wanted to mention that I do have a code over at Olo Markers, and I think it's good through the 28th. So hold on, let me see. I had this pulled up at one point on my computer. Okay, the code is Christina, just my name with a K, and it's for 10% off your entire order at Olo Marker. There's a link down below. That's my affiliate link. I would appreciate if you use my link, but you do have to put in my code to get that discount. So anyway, we're going to be using some Olo markers today, and I love this little guy with the stack of presents on him. So we're going to start by stamping him. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to be using Olo markers today. So you can use, your favorite paper for your alcohol markers, but I find that the Express It blending card works beautifully with the Olo markers. So I'm going to grab a little scrap of that. Oh, I have one that's the perfect size. Look at this. That's the perfect size for a little llama. He's so cute. I remember years ago, I went to a 4th of July parade with my cousins, and they were so funny. There was like a whole pack of llama farmers that were in the parade. It was like a local 4th of July parade. And they started yelling and they're like, llamas, llamas. They were all excited. My cousins, they were just funny. Okay. I'm using my Misty to stamp this. And put that right there. This cute little llama. So, you know what? I thought I had the coordinating dies for this stamp set, but maybe I don't. So we're going to have to do a little fussy cutting today. I'm looking for my Intense Black ink, which is a Copic friendly or alcohol marker friendly ink. And since I'm using my Olo markers today, I need to use an alcohol marker friendly ink. Let's put that right there. I might need to stamp a couple times. Just depends. I think my ink pad needs re-inking, so I probably will have to stamp a couple times. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's good, but it's a little bit faint. It's not as, solid black as I would hope. So I'm going to stamp one more time, making sure that image is in the corner of my Misty. press that down once again. Okay, that's beautiful. Look at the cute little llama. He's so adorable. I love it. And I love that, like, with what the llama's wearing, there's a lot of opportunity for, you know, adding color. But just because I want to make sure I'm not coloring a llama in an unrealistic fashion, I'm going to Google some images. So, stamped my little image, and we'll come back to the greeting once I have it figured out on my card exactly where I want it. But for now, I'm going to use my phone and Google. I'm going to do what I normally do when I'm Googling images for coloring, which is I do the animal or whatever I'm searching for, and then I do clip art at the end, because that's going to give you more illustrative examples. So you can kind of see that right there. Like, so cute. So you got brown, some more like, I don't know, kind of like a rusty color. There's black. I think I'm going to go with like white with some cream edges. You guys see that? Well, you can't see it as much right there, but it kind of has a little bit of some cream edges on it. I think that could be really cute. Now, also, I am planning to use some different colors of paper behind the llama after I cut him out. So I'm going to get those colors, you know, before I get the coloring, I might pick out those colors now. And I am still in love with the Craft Consortium packs of paper. Look at these colors. This was from a few years ago. Candy Christmas. I just thought this was so cute. Such bright, colorful colors. And I thought it would go really well with the llama, right? So I'm going to take cues for the colors from this pack of paper. I'm trying to decide what colors I want to use. I know I want that teal. You know, I'm just going to grab some scissors and I'll just start cutting this. I will eventually cut these down into strips, but I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting these out. Okay. And I think like 2 tones of orange and a red would be really nice. What's nice is that, you know, if I want 2 tones of red, I can just cut one strip, and just depending on what side of the paper I use, I can get both, which is kind of nice. Oh, that's going to be so cute. Okay. So basically I have this right here, like this section. I think I want to add some greens. I'm just loving the selection of colors and all of their pads. I think it's just amazing. Okay, so you can kind of see there's a bunch of different tones. I almost think I'll keep it bright. We'll keep it bright. Okay, so those are the colors. In fact, I'm going to cut these in half so I can have both sides showing, so that as I color my llama, I have an example of all the colors that I'm going to be using. I don't think I want to use this dark one, so I'll just have that red there. Okay, let's pick out some Olo colors. All right, I have my little Olo chart. Cheryl's asking, are you going to strip it up Laura Basson style? You know it. That is the whole idea. Beth's asking, if I had one suggestion for a holiday wish list, what would it be? Are you asking like crafty items? gosh. If you don't have a good paper trimmer, a really good paper trimmer is always really good. You'll get a lot of use out of that. If you're looking for a more expensive item, like this is really your wish list, I would say an Anna Griffin Empress Elite. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking for like colors that would sort of match these papers. I'm thinking, as far as reds go, I think I'm going to go with 05. And let's see, R05. Where did that go? There it is. All right, and then we've got some oranges. Like comparing to this swatch chart is always a good idea. I kind of think this one might be closest. OR 1.3. And then we've got kind of like a golden orange. Ooh, kind of yellowy. That's perfect right here. Like those tones right there. I'm going to go with YO 2.3. Okay. I think I'm just going to go for one tone of green. So let's see. I think that one's closest. G 5.3. Okay. Then we've got some kind of teals that are really pretty. Kind of the same teal vibe. I'm almost thinking like more like this right here. I know it's not quite as dusty as the paper, but I think it kind of has the same vibe. So I would say, well, this one's pretty spot on for that right there. That's crazy. Okay, so BG 7.2. And then I'm going to go with BG 2.5. Okay, so that's going to help me color all of the decorations on the back of the llama. And I guess technically this green would probably be the G 5.1. Okay. And then I'm just going to keep everything else pretty simple. Okay. Sometimes alcohol markers will bleed through to your work surface, as you're coloring, especially if you've got lots of, ink on top. So I'm going to just put some paper beneath it, and I'll put that right on top. And we'll start coloring our llama. So I'm going to keep him mostly white, but I am going to add like some cream tones. So I think like the color Chihuahua 04.1 would be perfect. All right, where are you? 04.1. Okay. So I'm just going to add just some shading, really simple shading. On our little llama. You want him to look pretty fuzzy. And he would have some shading underneath all of these little bits. Okay, I have no idea what color the inside of the ears are. I don't know that I took note of that when I looked it up on my on my phone. It looks just maybe like a pink tone. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, I'll grab a nice pink shade. Pink Lemonade, R0.2. We're just doing really simple coloring tonight. Nothing too crazy. And then I think the hooves have to be a little darker. And I think I want to use the pink color that I used for the ears. I'm going to give it just a little blush right there. So cute. Okay, so now I'm going to use all these colorful colors for the presents and whatever's, you know, on his back. All right, let's start with red up here. And just to keep it simple, I'm not going to add any shading on anything yet. I might just come in with like a purpley gray shade and add shading onto everything once I have it on here. I'm just going to do little pops of red first. Like maybe I'll have the red on the blanket on his back. This is so funny. I actually have a crocheted llama. No, sorry, it's a donkey, but it has like the same kind of decoration on him. He's so cute. My mom made him for me years ago. Just want to make sure I have enough instances of red. So in fact, you know what? Maybe I'll have the scarf around his neck be red. There we go. Okay, so now we just have to add all these other colors. I think kind of having the sun, looks like a sun pattern almost. I think that could be fun. Having like the oranges and the golds. Let's see, we want more orange. Moving on to the green. This present on top will be more traditional Christmas colors. And have these be green. And maybe I'll have the, okay, and then I've got the two colors of like the teal. I thought that would be really pretty up next to the orange. And I think I want to have this part be the teal. It's such a small little area to cuddle, so color. So I'm trying to use a very light hand. Okay, we'll do Fill those little spots in. In fact, maybe I'll do the dots in that color as well. This is coming together even quicker than I thought. Okay, then we've got the lighter green. I don't know if that's the top of a present or a whole new present, so I'm coloring it like a whole new present. Okay, we'll do the little tassels coming down. And I feel like I want to make the scarf that he's wearing, or the whatever, the neck things. I think I want those to be striped. So I am going to grab a slightly darker red, and I'll just add a little bit of a stripe to that. Just like that. In fact, you know what? I like that. Maybe I'll add some like polka dots to the gift. It's pretty cute. All right. I can hardly tell that that's green right there on those little tassels. So I'm going to change that to the darker teal. Okay. What a cute little llama dude. Okay, so something that you can do if you don't want to do a bunch of shading is you can add, like, you know, with different colors, you can add your shading just using like kind of like a purpley gray shade. So looking at my Copic chart, I'm thinking maybe like, let's start with BV 4.2. And if I need to go up one step, I can go up to the next one, but that's kind of a big jump. So I'm going to start, actually, I probably could just use these grays down here. In fact, I like this one. It's kind of in between those two purples. So I'm going to use Cool Gray 3. And then you can add it, you can just add really simple shading. So I'm going to add just a line down the bottom on each one of these. Can add a little bit of shading down here at the back of the kerchief as well. It's not really adding a whole lot, you know, now that I see it. And I really could just leave it the way it is if I wanted. All right, I'm gonna try that darker purple BV44. See if that, like, how dark is it really? That'll be fine. Adding a little bit of shading. Those presents are right on top of that back. And I also think there'd be a little more shading around this side. A little bit like that. Adding that purple quite a bit. Okay. Let's cut him out now. That took a whole lot less time than I thought it would. I'm not going to complain. It worked great. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl's excited because she's finally catching a live. Look at that. It didn't even bleed through onto that paper underneath. That is great. I can save that for another project. All right, let's, you know, it looks like it would be easy enough to fussy cut this. So I'm just going to fussy cut it instead of leaving a little bit of a margin. I don't know how I feel about these scissors. I don't like fussy cutting with them. Here we go. Back to my EK Success scissors. Yeah, these are a little better. I feel like the Spellbinders ones I was just using, those are nonstick. I like to use those. When I bought these new scissors, they're like the purple ones. It said that they were nonstick, but I don't know what is happening because they are not nonstick. Not like my gray ones used to be. And unfortunately, I got rid of the gray ones. I should have held on to them because I'd still be using them. But anyway, because they're not nonstick and I was cutting a lot of adhesive things, I started using the Spellbinder scissors, and those were really nice. I really like them, but I'm not used to fussy cutting with them. And I've been fussy cutting with like scissors like these EK Success scissors for so long. You know, back when I first started paper crafting and I was using all Stampin' Up, those were the scissors. They just sold a black handled version. In fact, they still might. They were not nonstick though. So when I went to the EK Success Cutter Bee scissors, and I believe they're like Honeybee, that's the kind of scissor. I called them Honeybee instead of Cutter Bee. I never looked back, and I had the same pair of scissors for like years. This llama is very fluffy. I didn't realize he was so fluffy. Making a card here at the end of the day is sort of like my reward. I've been working all day long because I'm going out of town. And so I have all of my videos prepped for when I'm gone, but I also needed to prep everything for my December release. So that is all prepped, almost ready. This looked easy enough to cut out, but there's a lot of little nooks and crannies that I didn't even think about. All right, I'll come back and I'll get that detail here in a minute. I'm going to skip over some of these areas. And I'll come back, like the interior between the head and the stack of presents. I'll come back for that in a minute. I feel like these scissors just aren't as, I mean, for one thing, they're almost sticky, although it said it was non-stick. I don't know how that even happens. But I feel like they're just not quite as sharp as my other ones. Wow, I didn't anticipate that coloring a llama would get a whole alpaca llama conversation going in the chat. Amber's like, I thought it was going to be harder to fussy cut than you suggested. Amber, you may have been right. You know what? Every time I do fussy cutting, even though, you know, sometimes it's annoying and I sort of hate it, I never regret it because it always looks great, you know, especially on like colored images. It just, they look finished, very finished and set off on the card. All right, so now I've got to come in here and do this little interior. Maybe I will try those Spellbinder scissors. They seem to be a little sharper. All right, did anyone see Wicked this weekend? It was so good. There were some surprises that they kept great secret of. That was poorly worded. They kept the surprises secret and no one knew anything about them. At least that I hadn't heard. Okay, just gotta give us one little section. Everyone's saying they're going sometime soon. Yes, it's so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the touring company of Wicked, on Broadway is coming through Salt Lake soon. So I'll get to see the stage production. I've seen the stage production 4 times. The first time was with the original cast. I feel like I'm like a unicorn. It was 20 years ago. Put it that way. It was 20 years ago, my first visit to New York City. And I loved it. It was my first Broadway show I ever saw on actual Broadway. And I did sometimes they do they do all the time, where they do a lottery, like you can put your name in to kind of win a ticket that's like front row or something like that. So we went to go do that because we were really hoping to get tickets. But then they also said, but we also have these 2 obstructed view seats if you want them. We're like, sure. So we paid for those instead. And they were like 12th row and kind of a little more off to the side. But there was really only one scene where we couldn't see what was happening on stage. I don't think I missed much. It was amazing. All right, so now I'm taking a black brush tip marker, and you can see there's like a white edge to the cardstock. I'm just kind of painting the white edge, and then it like fills everything in so that it looks perfect. Even if I've not cut things out just right. This is the part where you want to slow down and be really careful because you don't want to accidentally color black over your colored part. Like I like to keep it angled off to the side like this so that I really can't accidentally color what I don't mean to color. But this just makes it so the cut edges look really nice. Yes, I've heard the book and the show is very different. I have not read the book, but I had a college professor read it after, because I was there in New York with the design program. And so after a bunch of us saw it, the art design teacher was obsessed and he's like, I'm going to read the book. And he read the book and then he's like, you guys, it was nothing like the musical. He's like, I do not recommend the book. So I've never read it. All right, just getting these last few little bits on the legs. I feel like you have to warn people that might see the movie now, like, don't read the book. In this case, the musical is better, I think. Okay. Oh, that little llama is so cute. You know, he might have to have some glitter added to him eventually. Okay, so now we have all of our pattern papers. And I'm thinking, okay, so it's an A2 card. Got to post it here. A2 card. I want to do like a center section and have like one color at the bottom, and that's where I'm going to put the greeting. I was thinking I would do the Deck the Halls with Llama Joy. No. I'm going to do wishing you a llama amazing holiday season. That's brilliant. Okay, so we'll have a band of color there, and then I'll have these other ones just like random widths going up. And then our little llama with the presents on his back will be right there. I think that'll be really cute. So I just got to figure out how wide I want this to be. Okay, so if this is an A2 card and he's right there, I probably want, got to get my cart with my markers out of the way. Getting out a ruler. I probably want that center area to be about 2.5 inches. Okay, so if it's 2.5 inches, all right, if that is 2.5 from 4.25, I don't even want to think about, you know what? I'm just going to use my A2 layer size. And I will just find the one that is about 2.5 wide. And then I'll just cut all the papers. That sounds the easiest way, so I don't have to do math. Okay. This looks like that's about 2.5. Is that 2.5? 2.75. I was so close. I guess I could just go like that, and I can actually see how big it's going to be. Maybe I do want that slightly larger one. Yeah, about like that. That's great. Okay. So now I just have to cut all my papers, and unfortunately, well, I guess I'm going to find out which ones are large enough and which ones are not. This is the bad cut end. Don't use that end, Christina. Alrighty. I'll just run this through my die cutting machine. This is going to be great. And then all I have to do is cut the strips. Lovely. This one should be the whole thing. Really, I could measure that and probably cut these faster with the paper trimmer, but it's all good. This is going to make it super fast and easy. Oh, that's like the perfect size. There we go. I think they're all going to be just about the right size. It's just this one that got a little small. Looks like this one's going to be a little, oh, no, I think that direction will be perfect. I was thinking it might be a little too small, but that might be perfect that direction. Okay. And then this last one out of the red. And I'm thinking I want the red to be, oh no, it moved off to the side. Oops, that's okay. I will use this end, it'll be fine. Don't use that end. I'm thinking I want to stamp and heat emboss my greeting in white on the bottom. So I'm going to do that first because then I know how wide of a border it needs to be. So I'll just get out my Misty. Put that right there. Wishing you a amazing holiday season. What a cute greeting. Okay. Put that right about right there. That looks great. Maybe a little bit lower. Prep it with an anti-static powder tool. And then stamp in white pigment ink. Just inking up the stamp. Oh, that's going to be perfect. Just cleaning off that stamp, putting it away. Yes, multiple llamas would be adorable. Like use all 4 that are in the stamp set. Got just a little bit of embossing powder kind of hanging out in a couple little spots. So I'm just brushing that away. That's my heat tool. I'm going to let the heat tool heat up really well. Okay. The paper looked like it got a little darker there for a minute. Got a little too hot. Okay. Take that powder off with a little bit of that. And then that would be my paper trimmer that I was trying to grab. My little itty bitty one, which is just fine. Okay. And then I can trim this off. Oh, I need to do it there. Okay. Yeah, about right there. This edge wasn't complete, remember that? Okay. So now we need to start putting these all together in a cute little stripy fashion. I'm wondering if I should use that same die and I guess I'll just have whatever colors at the top be the base layer. Okay, so I need to figure out how I want these. Need to figure out what order I want them in. Or if I even want both of the greens. Kind of liked it better like that. Actually, if we want it to be a little bit more rainbowy, we could totally make it more rainbow. I don't think I like it as a rainbow. I liked it kind of mixed up. Like maybe in that order? No. I think I do want those together. Those greens are so similar. I don't know that I need both. I think about like that. Okay. So this green is the base layer. So I'll put that down there at the bottom. Okay, and then I just need to cut these strips in varying sizes. So maybe like, yes, the blues are so nice. Might have to cut this a little bit thinner. Oh no, that's great. Kind of a eclectic width of all the stripes. Okay. So for the rest of these, I'm just going to go ahead and do some adhesive, kind of just all over. Okay. Then I can start putting this together. Yes, the paper pack was from Craft Consortium. It is the Candy Christmas. Candy Christmas. I don't know if it's still available or not. It was out, I think, at least 2 years ago. Seeing like a little gap in this one. I don't know why. Like a little cut gap. That's a little better. Oh, I put adhesive up there where I didn't need it. Well, I guess if I want them to all be the same level, I could actually cut the green a little bit because, you know, it's double-sided, so I can cut it a little bit and it'll be just right. Okay, so that is just shy of 1/2 inch. I think that'll be perfect. Yeah. There we go. So now everything's like the same width. Okay. So we have our little stripies. So I'm going to put foam adhesive behind this one. This is when I make sure I use my Spellbinder scissors because they truly are non-stick. Oh my word, I picked up the wrong scissors. You see this? They are not non-stick. So annoying. Okay. Oh, almost perfect. There we go. I love it when I cut my foam tape to be the perfect length and then I don't have any extra that I've had to cut off. It's amazing. Okay, so here's my card base. Oh, I thought about maybe putting it on a craft note card too. Oh, that is dang cute. Do I want to do some white paint splatter? Do I? Maybe? I don't know yet. I think maybe I do. But it's already attached to the card. I'm not going to. All right. I'm gonna grab some foam strips. Okay, just a little more foam. I think I want to add just a couple of little spots on the legs, just because I think they'll get a little crushed in the mail if I don't. This is when, if I had the coordinating dies, it would come in handy because then I would have just like cut 3 of the same die or something, so it'd be the thickness that I want. Okay. You know what I was just thinking? We were talking about Wicked before, and the actor from Bridgerton, his name Jonathan Bailey, is that what his name is? Anyway, the one who plays Anthony in Bridgerton, he is in it, and then it made me think, like, follow my train of thought here. Then I thought, it'd be great if Bridgerton, like all great British television shows, decided to have a Christmas special. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, and then we're going to put our cute little llama. Oh, the sizing is perfect on this. Cute little llama. And then I think our llama needs a little bit of glitter, maybe. And I don't want to put like a ton of glitter on. I just want a little bit. So I'm going to take some Stickles glitter glue in Diamond. And I'm actually just going to like carefully dab it on. What paintbrush do I want to dedicate to this? It might not survive. Let's try using the end of a brush, like maybe that'll work. Oh, that works. Then I'm not going to ruin the bristles on the actual brush. Because I don't want it to be like totally all globby on it. But I do want just some little bits of sparkle. Oh, I think that's really cute. You guys see how much sparkle's on that? I think I'll add it to the back of the blanket. Actually, you know what? I feel like I could probably dab this on better with like tweezers. Yeah, I think I will do a little bit of glitter on the little scarf around his neck. Ooh, I know. You know how I wanted to do paint splatter, but then decided I didn't want to? Maybe this is an opportunity to add sequins, or I could just call it a day and be done. I just feel like this card needs something around the outer edge, you know? Border, like a black border, maybe. Ooh, good job. Now that's a good suggestion, Pam. Pam says that she puts the stickles directly on her project and then spreads it out with a toothpick. That is a good method. Okay, let's see about adding some sequins. My favorite sequins, which are very glistening, are these. Oh, some just like flew out. That means they really want to be on the card, right? That's what that means. Maybe I don't want it. It's such a plain background. I know what it needs. And I should have done it before I adhered the llama. I was thinking it needs some, like a little bit of pattern through the stripes. You know what I'm saying? Like some dots or dash lines or something. These sequins are stuck to my hand. Okay. We are going to figure this out. Oh, like some black fringe to look like a blanket at the bottom. That would be really cute. One that just looks like a little wavy line. In fact, I think I'll have it just needs a little something, you know? Yes, a Bridgerton Christmas, like Call the Midwife Christmas or Downton Abbey, or The Vicar of Dibley, which might be my most favorite British TV show ever. Let's see here. What other little patterns do I want on this? I think just like my traditional dashed line. Never can go wrong with that. And then maybe that's enough. Other than I think I want to thicken up this line a little bit. There we go. Oh, hey, Jennifer. Jennifer just popped on. Hi, Jennifer. I'm almost thinking I want to add a gold frame to it. Like it needs something to offset, you know, the outside edge. You know what I'm saying? If I hadn't adhered the foam tape already, I would go old school on you and I would add a scalloped border using punched dots. The Vicar of Dibley. It is so good. It used to be on Netflix in the US. I don't know if it still is, but The Vicar of Dibley, V-I-C-A-R. Hey, Jennifer. I just saw Jennifer like less than a week ago. She misses me already. I miss you too. Okay, this is a very simple card. Do I want it to be done? I feel like it's not done. I might have to add a black dash line. Okay, how thick is this? I have to test it. It's not too bad. Alrighty. I think I will add some dashed lines. I'm just going to use a ruler to make sure it's straight. Oh yeah, this is going to finish it off. Hey, Jennifer, I was just saying, wouldn't it be great if Bridgerton came out with a Christmas special? You know, do like one of the side characters, you know, that's maybe not in the actual novels. You know, like what they did with Queen Charlotte. Yeah. Okay, that looks more finished to me now. Yes, I saw Wicked this weekend. You need to go see it. I think you'd love it. I think Lila would love it. Okay, all right. So this is the finished card for tonight. I'm going to wrap things up. Made a whole card in an hour with coloring. Not bad. All right, so the links for everything are down below. Well, not quite everything. I didn't add the paper because I didn't know I was going to use it till right before I was going live. So I'll add that here at the end. But I'm going to do a quick little spiel for those watching the edited replay, and then we'll close up the video for tonight. So here is the finished card. You can see a little bit of that glitter sparkle right on the llama. What a cutie he is. He's adorable. All the supplies are listed down below. This was day 14 of the holiday card series. I'll be back on Wednesday with day 15. So thanks for watching. And if you'd like to check out any of my previous years of the holiday card series, all day 14, check out the links down below in the video description. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Okay, so that's the finished card for today. If you guys have any questions that I totally missed in the chat, let me know. Just repeat them in the chat right now, and I'll get to them. But I think I'm definitely going to have to rebuy my EK Success scissors because I somehow got the ones that are not nonstick. I don't know how that's possible. Okay, let's see. Ooh, The Vicar of Dibley is streaming on Prime Video and Tubi. That's great. Will you sing a Christmas carol on your last Christmas card post? No, you don't want me singing. There will be no singing. I used Olos tonight, Shy. Thanks, Brandy. Let's see here. I'm scrolling up. People are talking about watching shows with captions. I have captions and like closed captioning on almost every show I watch, especially if it's a show where there's a lot of characters and I'm like trying to keep track of them. Let's see. Let's see here. Betsy's talking about Bridgerton. Yeah, Jennifer and I were watching Bridgerton when we were on our Alaska cruise this summer, and Betsy saw us talking about it on Instagram, and then she went and started watching it. She went down the rabbit hole. Oh, thank you, Shy. Cheryl, yes, I had lots of fun at Disney. Lots of fun was had. All right. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. I've got to go make dinner and have some food before I close out the night. It's been a long day, y'all. I was working all day. All right, have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for joining me for day 14 of the holiday card series. Here's another look, close-up look at our cute little llama. He's adorable. All right, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys. Well, gosh, I'm not going to be live for 2 weeks. I'm traveling, so I'll miss you next week for the live, but I have lots of videos for you ready to go. So I hope you'll come back and check those out. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you all next time.